Hey everybody, I wanted to read an article to you of something that I find to be pretty alarming. I think this is major. I think you guys need to know about this as a prepping community. This is important to you. Nearly 30 million acres of U.S. farms are now owned by foreigners. I don't know if you guys knew that. I didn't. 30 million acres are owned by foreign entities, not owned by Americans. Okay, vast stretches of the heartland is now owned by foreigners, and most Americans have no idea what's happening. These days, a lot of people are warning about globalism of the world economy, but in reality, our own soil is rapidly being globalized, being bought up and owned by foreign entities. When farms are locally owned, the revenue from those farms tends to stay in the local communities. For the most part, it does. But when foreigners own farms, there's no guarantee where that money's going to go. No guarantee, but I bet you anything, the majority of it goes overseas. There are some very serious national security concerns here, and they really aren't being addressed. Some states don't allow foreigners to own land in their state. Other states, it's kind of a free-for-all, like Texas. Texas doesn't have any limits on how much property can be owned in their state. They don't have any limits on it. Other states, like Iowa, that restrict it. In Iowa, foreign entities can't own land. It's not legal in the state of Iowa for a foreign country to own land in their state. They won't allow it. Go Iowa. Okay? Other states like Ohio, they don't do that. They're more like Texas. There's, 64,000 acres is owned by a company from the Netherlands in just outside of Toledo, Ohio. 64,000 acres. That's a big farm. Okay? And they didn't use it for food. Those 64,000 acres aren't for food. You know what it's for? A wind farm. Generating electricity, creating money that's going overseas. It's not staying here. The company in the Netherlands is raking off millions of dollars of profit off of our land in our country that we're not seeing any of that money. Even when restrictions are in place, okay? Even when a state has restrictions, I'll say like, Iowa, that doesn't allow you to have a foreign country come in and buy land, they still get around that. Because what they're doing, there's countries like China that are coming in and they're buying huge corporations. There's no laws restricting that. They can buy these massive corporations, and when they do, they automatically own all the land that those corporations own. Okay, and I'm going to give you an example here. Smithfield Foods is based in Virginia. They were bought by China in 2013. They immediately gained control of 146,000 acres of prime farmland just from buying Smithfield Foods. 146,000 acres of prime farmland to raise pigs. Okay? Now Smithfield owns over 500 farms in the United States. In other words, China owns over 500 farms in the United States. And they contract with over 2,000 more independent farms in the United States for pig production. Okay, so really, that is terrible. That's 2,500 farms that the Chinese are raking the bucks in, and we're losing out. But the worst part is the fact that they actually own 500 of those farms and the land those farms are sitting on. The Chinese do. Our soil, our land is being owned and bought up by the Chinese. This last year we've had has been devastating on floods. I'm really frustrated because I had to take my kid. This sounds selfish, and I don't mean it to sound this way. I had to take my son to drop him off 40 miles away for a men's conference that he wanted to go to. Bless God, I'm happy for that. I'm glad he wanted to go. It's a Christian men's conference he wanted to attend. I'm very excited. He's going. He went. Praise God. That's great. My frustration is at the moment because we're in between paychecks. I don't have the gas to go back and video today like I wanted to for this specific video. I didn't have time to do it yesterday. We've been having a lot of flooding around here. Now, many of you guys have asked, are you okay? Are you okay? Okay. And I said, yeah, all the time. I tell you guys, we're kind of up on a hill. It's not a problem for us. But the surrounding communities, it's a big problem. Yesterday was the first day since the last two big storms that we've had, 2 or 3, that I have went the direction that I went yesterday and took my kid to this conference to drop him off to the conference. They were driving to that. Our local lake has flooded. I mean, it has overgone the banks. Farms are underwater. It's totally flooded. That land is going to be worthless for the next several years. They won't be able to do a thing with it. The road that goes across, one of the causeways that go across to the other side past the lake, is underwater. Like I said, the farmland is underwater. The rivers have overflowed their banks, and they're flooding everything. I haven't been out of my town and then the very next town next to us, 8 miles away. I haven't been out of these two towns in the last 3 or 4 weeks. So this is the first time I've gotten far enough away to see what's going on. I can't believe the condition our rivers are in and the amount of flooding that's taken place all over the place. I want to show you guys pictures so bad. Anyway, my point is the flooding is terrible. And the flooding that has taken place all this last season, so far all this spring, and then just before spring started when we were having these bomb cyclones, those 2 of them that we told you about, and how the northern half of the Midwest of the United States is just devastated. I named off 5 states to you guys that are just underwater. They're in such terrible shape from all the flooding, and that the fields and all those farms are going bankrupt. They've lost their homes. They've lost their farms, the land as well, not just the physical buildings and all the equipment, but the land. All that is lost. They're coming here to Kansas to buy vehicles because the vehicles they need to buy were all underwater and they couldn't buy vehicles. So they were coming here to buy cars and trucks. Well, that devastation of all that farmland and the farmland that's here that is underwater, okay, what's going to happen when those crops can't be grown and sold? It's devastating, right? We know the food prices are going to go up. But think of this. We just had more flooding. And we have a dam that is here in Kansas that is ready to burst. Somehow a sinkhole opened up on the other side of the dam, almost to the top. The ground caved in. It's a sinkhole, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and water is starting to gush out of the dam. Okay? When that dam bursts, all that farmland is going to be destroyed. It's going to be destroyed. And, I can say, praise God, bless God, when that goes, there's not going to be a lot of homes and buildings destroyed. It's going to go out into the way the topography is. It's pretty much just going to go out in all the farm fields, but it really shouldn't take out much in the way of buildings and homes. They're predicting that the homes will be okay. Some buildings may be lost, but in general, homes and all should be all right. But the farmland is going to be lost, and that's just more farmland. Well, when these foreign nations are buying, these foreign companies, are buying up all our farms and sending everything overseas, what's going to be left for us when there is an emergency? When a crisis happens, food crisis, which we believe is going to happen, what's going to be left for us when these people are buying up all our farms and sending everything overseas? It's going to be a real problem, You guys need to keep this in mind. You just have to. I'm checking my notes here. Really, I mean, I guess basically that's it. That covers it. But I just need you guys to know you need to prepare, prepare, prepare. I say it all the time. This is why this channel's here. I will continue to say it. Spiritually and physically, you need to prepare. You really do. We are going to have a food crisis. It's going to happen. I don't know when it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. And it's going to be bad. Now is the time, people. Now is the time to be purchasing everything you can food-wise and stock it up your shelves. It is going to be a problem. Hard times are coming. We don't prep for the end of the world. We prep for hard times and for survival, literally, when everything goes to pot. And when there's a food crisis, if you prepare now, you're going to be very glad you did when the stuff hits the fan. And it's going to hit the fan. It's a matter of time. I told you. Flooding all over the Midwest. Those fields will not be able to be used for at least a decade, more than likely. According to Farm Bureau, and I forget who it was when I did this report for you guys a few months back, that land is going to be devastated for years and years to come. Now we have another dam that's going to go right here in Kansas. Our lake is flooded, and it's flooded all those farms right here in Kansas. We are the breadbasket of the world, and our breadbasket is shrinking radically because it's being bought up by foreign entities and because of the flooding that's going on. You guys need to prepare. All right. I don't mean to harp, but you guys need to know this stuff. I was not aware of this. 30 million acres. 30 million acres have been bought up by foreign entities. So need to keep that in mind. That's it. Thumbs up, thumbs down. You guys know the routine. I look forward to reading your comments, and I hope you guys have a great weekend and a good week coming up. New week coming up ahead, so I hope you guys have a great week as well. And we'll talk to you again soon. Thanks a lot. Bye.